Hello, RotoBallers! I'm Matt Donnelly, and it is the Super Bowl week. If you are playing roulette, you best bet on red, as the San Francisco 49ers are facing the Kansas City Chiefs to see who will hoist the Lombardi Trophy. For the 49ers, this is their 8th trip to the Super Bowl, while the Chiefs are making their 6th trip and their 4th one in 6 years with Patrick Mahomes under center. The game kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so you better be ready for the fireworks here. Patrick Mahomes, he is back in the Super Bowl after road victories over the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Say what you will about the Kansas City Chiefs, but they are as close to a dynasty as you will find in professional sports today. While San Francisco, they may be the current 1.5 point favorites, Patrick Mahomes is 3-0 in his career against the 49ers, including a 44-23 victory the last time that these teams met back in week number 7 of the 2022 season. In that contest, if you recall, Patrick Mahomes would throw for 423 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling each had over 110 yards. The Chiefs' identity has been their defense all season long. Not Patrick Mahomes, not Travis Kelce, not Taylor Swift. Well, actually, Taylor Swift is starting to become the identity, but it's all about this defense. A defense that is second in points per game allowed at 17.3 and has held their opponents to less than 21 points in 7 of the last 8 contests, while allowing the 4th fewest yards this season. It will have to be on its best game here this week, as the 49ers offense, they are averaging 28.9 points per game, which happens to be the 3rd most, including 10 games this season in which they produced over 30 points. As for Mahomes, he has only averaged 261 yards per game this season, while tossing 27 touchdowns and a career high 14 interceptions. For fantasy, I am fading Mahomes, who has 4 touchdowns in 3 games in the postseason after finishing the regular season with just a touchdown pass in 5 of his final 6 games. It's going to be interesting to see how Jawan Taylor, the most penalized offensive lineman in the league, holds up against Nick Bosa. That may be one of those matchups that helps determine the winner of this game. Teams this season have been able to throw on this 49ers secondary, but I'm having a hard time trusting in Mahomes in that aspect. Mahomes' worst season to date, and yet it is still a Super Bowl worthy appearance here. I hate to say it, but Mahomes' playoff run, it has been very game manager-esque. 4 touchdowns, 100.7 there on the passer rating, a completion rate of 68%, and no interceptions. He's coming off an AFC Championship game against arguably the best defense the NFL had to offer, in which he completed 30 of 39 passes, but only 241 yards and a touchdown. Look for Mahomes to be on the lookout for Travis Kelce, who's on the lookout for Taylor Swift. But Kelce, he's got more receptions in the postseason than any other player in NFL history, and he has at least 70 yards receiving in each of the games here so far for the Chiefs this postseason. It's strength against strength here, as we have Kelce getting to see plenty of Fred Warner in coverage, who, along with the rest of his 49ers defense, is allowing the 4th lowest pass rate to tight ends this season. However, we just have to look back to last week when Sam Laporta holding 9 passes for 97 yards in that NFC Championship contest. And you can never underestimate the power of Swiftie Nation. On the other sideline, you have George Kittle, who himself had 1,000 yards receiving, but that doesn't get any easier for him, facing the 7th stingiest defense in this Chiefs front, led by Justin Reed, who held Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely to just 31 receiving yards last week. Now, if you are worried about pressure getting to you from the outside, Nick Bosa, then expect plenty of Isaiah Pacheco between the tackles, as he has broken off 65 or more rushing yards in 4 straight contests, while averaging 4.6 yards per carry this season. In the NFC Championship game, the duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs scored 3 times on the ground, averaged 6.3 yards per carry on their way to 182-yard performance. Not to mention the success that Aaron Jones had a couple weeks back. Pacheco, he feels like the next safest fantasy bet outside of Travis Kelce. Now, before I go into more detail with the 49ers, the only other pass catcher I have faith in when it comes to this Chiefs team is Rashid Rice, who has finished 3rd this season with 653 yards after the catch and has been getting better and better each and every single week, including 25 targets so far this postseason. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's already used up his 3 wishes, or his 3 catches for the season, if you want to call it that. So I'm going to believe that he's going to be a non-factor in this contest. For the 49ers, they need Christian McCaffrey to do Christian McCaffrey type things. McCaffrey, he ran for a league high 1,459 yards this season, averaging 5.4 yards per carry with those 14 touchdowns. Then again, this Chiefs defense, they did manage to contain Lamar Jackson and that Ravens run game back in that AFC Championship game just a couple weeks ago. Kansas City, they are allowing 4.5 yards per carry this season to running backs. Lamar Jackson, not necessarily a running back. Christian McCaffrey is the running back. So you have to feel that he's going to have one of the best games out there and he's going to be able to produce for fantasy in this one. This season, the 49ers are 12-1 when McCaffrey runs for at least 75 yards, including that win in the NFC Championship game against the Lions, which are one of the top-ranked teams as far as fantasy is concerned this season. All McCaffrey did was run for 90 yards and a pair of touchdowns while adding 43 more yards on 4 receptions. This is a key battle as the Chiefs themselves are 7-0 when they hold their opponents to less than 110 yards on the ground. Unlike the Ravens, San Francisco, they're more than a one-trick pony here. They've got multiple options and a quarterback that is more than capable of getting the ball into his playmakers' hands. We're talking McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel. Purdy, he threw 31 touchdown passes this season with all 4 of those top receiving options hauling in at least 6 of them. He also led the league with a 113 passer rating, and he threw just 11 interceptions on the regular season. Purdy's numbers here have been down in the playoffs, and something is going to need to change if the 49ers are to beat the Chiefs, as Kansas City secondary, they are ranked 3rd this season in yards per attempt and 9th in passer rating at 83.6. All Mr. Irrelevant has done since getting his opportunity is win, baby. The man has taken the 49ers to the NFC Championship game in back-to-back years. And this is a redemption story of sorts here after exiting last season's conference championship due to injury. Now, another key to this whole battle is the 49ers offensive line versus Chris Jones and company. Jones, he finished the season with 10.5 sacks, while George Karlaftis, he also had 10.5 sacks, and he's going to be lined up across from Colton McKivitz, who also allowed a league-high 11.5 sacks this season, but none against the Detroit Lions last week. We also know that Steve Spagnuolo, he's going to be bringing the blitz, which he did at the 5th highest rate this season. But that could play right into Brock Purdy and his 49ers hands here, as Purdy, he threw 15 of his 31 touchdown passes against the blitz and a league best 132.3 against said blitz there as far as passer rating is concerned. It doesn't hurt when you have hot reads who are all capable of making big plays after the catch as he has. With L'Jarius Sneed likely drawing Brandon Aiyuk in coverage, I like Deebo Samuel to be that X factor for the 49ers in this one as they move him around and getting him involved in both the pass and run game, even with Trent McDuffie likely drawing that assignment. Whether you are playing DFS or competing in a fantasy playoff contest, I am taking Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes this week. I think I've seen enough this season and the postseason to tell us that Patrick Mahomes, he's great. He's just not that guy you want in fantasy this year. At running back, Christian McCaffrey, you can't bench him. If you have him available to you, you have to start him. Isaiah Pacheco, he is a cheaper option, and he's going to provide you good value based on what opposing backs have been able to do to this 49ers run defense in recent weeks. Elijah Mitchell is one of the backs who offers some sleeper appeal, but keep an eye on the injury report as far as Jerick McKinnon is concerned, who has an opportunity to potentially play this week, and if he does, he has that big-time play there. We've seen what he's done in Super Bowls past. At tight end, Kittle and Kelce, they're both great options. Kelce, he's perhaps the better option because of the power of love, baby. Taylor Swift and her Swifties are coming from Japan to Vegas, though that means he's going to have a little extra in this contest. You know he's going to be the featured target of Patrick Mahomes, maybe more so than Kittle is to Purdy. Bottom line is, I like both these tight ends, even in difficult matchups, but Kelce, he gets my edge. And finally, at wide receiver, Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, Rashid Rice, these are your best bets available. All 3 have proven to be able to make something out of nothing and pick up valuable yards after the catch. Kansas City, they will be playing plenty of man coverage and no opposing wide receivers, and this is key, has produced more than 80 yards receiving in any game since week number 12. Rice and Samuel, I have them both slightly ahead of Aiyuk this week. And if I'm looking for a sleeper play, perhaps it's Justin Watson, who has 5 targets this postseason, or possibly Jawan Jennings, who has come out and balled out when given an opportunity to do so in Deebo Samuel's absence. And there you have it, your San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl preview breakdown. And if you're looking for more fantasy analysis or football information, head over to rotoballer.com, the RotoBaller Discord channel, and make sure you are subscribed right here on the RotoBaller YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.